Yo, what is up? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Full-Time Tony, with my guy,
JC Coates.
JC, we're back in the studio today.
Yes.
We just got done with a great 10-day sprint in Oklahoma.
Yes,
it was like a 15-day sprint for you. You went from Oklahoma to Missouri and then back.
Yes,
I
did.
You're doing the hard work out there.
Yes.
JC was like, well, one of us has got to go to these meetings. I was like, sounds like you're going to these meetings, JC.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
No, but JC had a great time with our other partner, Joy, who is actually your partner.
Yes, yeah.
Physically.
Mm-hmm. Double partner.
Yeah,
situation.
double partner. We're just, me and her just partners by signatures. But yeah, we have a great guest today, getting us back into the studio. Who we got?
Yeah, Janelle Johngrass is in the building today. Janelle, are you out there?
I am. Hello.
Nice.
What's going on? How we doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Can you hear my baby?
What?
I do not have a baby.
Okay, good.
I know you're like a mom to like 20 kids right now, right?
Yeah, it feels like that for sure. My gaggle.
So tell us a quick little bit about who you are and what you got going on.
Yeah, so I'm Janelle Johngrass. I'm a mother of 4. I'm a wife. I live in Las Vegas, where you guys live. I'm a health coach, cannabis advocate for 20 years, and the founder of No Mommy. No Mommy is an organization that I run that is aimed to empower mothers with education, support, and resources as they navigate wellness from pregnancy to mindful parenting.
That's awesome.
That is beautiful.
And me and JC have seen you speak a couple different times at a couple different things. I think normal. Have you spoken at Bud Tender Fight Club as well?
Yep, and then the CBDIO.
Yeah, and CBDIO. I mean, you're all over the place when it comes to speaking, and I think it's so awesome because you're so educated on what you specialize in, and I think that's, a lot of people pretend to be educated in what they're specialized in, but you actually are.
Well, I'm curious because everything about what you talk about is motherhood and based kind of around that. But then we always see you speaking at cannabis events, right? And you've been a cannabis advocate. How do you connect all that? And how do you use cannabis, if you do, with your wellness program?
Yeah, so I saw that there was a lack for women's voices in the cannabis community, especially around consumer rights. Cannabis is a tool that women can turn to in all different stages of life, and motherhood is no different. But we're kind of getting lost in the dust when it comes to research and information and, laws to protect us. Even in Las Vegas, where it's recreational legal, there's a lot of gray where it comes to mothers' rights and women's rights when consuming and children are in tow. So I am a big advocate to sharing my story. I don't consider myself a cannabis expert by any means. I recommend it as a holistic option for women that are experiencing symptoms from extreme nausea, vomiting, pain, mood and mind disorders, or just to have general something to relax at the end of the day if they're not interested in other natural modalities and tools. So many women turn to, wine or, prescription medications for relaxation or mood support or physical needs. And we know from the research that's being done in the cannabis community, it has a vast benefit when it comes to body, mind, and soul. Mm-hmm. And so women have a right to this, and I'm really pushing for our rights to be heard and for laws to be put in place to protect us.
God bless you, because, my partner, our double partner that we were just talking about, Leilani Joy, she's at her, she runs an insurance office, right? That's where she's at right now. And then, we have kids at home. And then, we have our multi-state cannabis business where she travels with us and, joins
why does she date you?
I know, right? And she's all in all of those things, right? And she encompasses that super mom kind of status. And it's like, man, she uses cannabis in place of alcohol, and it's like, it's a blessing for her. And I'm just in here thinking, like, there's literally like women, in this country where it's not legal, right? And it's like, please let these women, if they so choose, medicate with the cannabis. So, I'm happy you're that voice for these women.
And I think it's interesting too, because like, I remember when, legalization was just happening, or like when it was medical, how nervous parents were with using cannabis, especially mothers, because they think that people would think that they're bad parent, right? If they consume cannabis and they take care of their child, or they consume cannabis if cannabis is around their child, and they were nervous about like people calling what's called child CPS on them, right? And so I think that's like to educate people, like, listen, you're not a bad mom if you want to consume cannabis, right? Because it's the same thing as if you want to drink a glass of wine.
Yeah, I mean, it should be, right?
And it's probably way healthier for you and better for you to smoke cannabis instead of drinking that glass of wine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to have more cognitive function, that's for sure. But there's also, we're talking about mothers, right? They have the baby already. There's a huge demographic of pregnant women who are wanting to utilize this plant. And right now, amongst the cannabis community, it's a resounding no, right? Like they're saying the research is not in our favor, and we don't have enough data, and the baby is not, able to consent. And to me, it's a natural tool these women can use, right? There's a saying, like, there's no free lunch. The women that are needing cannabis for physical or mental support during pregnancy or postpartum are looking at it as an option instead of taking pharmaceuticals or something else that has its own side effects and negative implications. So we need to support that this is a choice, and right now they're just kind of saying don't do it, but women are doing it, and they've been doing it, and they're going to continue to do it because for thousands of years they've been using it during pregnancy, and we know this because we share our stories and we talk. So whatever the research is showing with these inconsistent trials, right? If we're talking about real health and worrying about wellness, then we need to look at all levels of how a mother is when she's growing a baby, from her relationship with her partner to what she's eating to whether she's cleaning her house with toxins or not. We can't just say, oh, she consumed cannabis, so her baby's small, that's a problem. Having a small baby, is that the overall level of health? Like, I'm 4'11", my babies are 6'8", 7'8". Like, yeah, I have small babies, but is that because I consumed cannabis? Well, I would hope I wouldn't have like a 12-pound baby coming out of me. That would really hurt.
I want to just ask the hard question, and I think you just kind of brought it up, but like the idea of consuming cannabis while being pregnant. How do you feel about that? Well, let's just kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so I was talking to Mommy Jane. I don't know if you guys know her. She's a big advocate for mothers' rights in the cannabis community. And I kind of just said to her, like, I'm willing to lay on the sword and say I've used it in all my pregnancies. I used it before it was legal because it was the only thing that helped me during my pregnancy. And, is it scary to come out and say that? Well, yeah, but that's because of the stigma and this fear that is around it, not because any damage from my perspective has been done to my children. I have 4 children. They are functioning. They are healthy. They are happy. Of course, they're crazy and wild. They're kids, So, these levels that we're saying this is what healthy is and we shouldn't do this, because we're not looking at the bigger picture of all the variables when it comes to the well-being of the mother and of the child. So I'm a big advocate of it because I've utilized it. I've used it during pregnancy. I've used it during postpartum, through all of them. And I will continue to share my story so other women know, you know what, you can be a good mom. You can be pregnant and turn to this tool that has medicinal value. It's not like I'm sitting there getting high, just like smoking the bong while my kids are running around naked and I'm, just having like babies in the field. Like that's not, you know, I'm a modern woman. I run a business. I homeschool. I need something that will support me and my life. And cannabis has been a great option to use as a tool when I feel in need. And we all have needs sometimes, whether it's turning to an ibuprofen or a glass of wine. Why can't I use cannabis in that same way and not have this stigma and shame put upon me?
100%. I want to kind of dive deep into it a little bit more. So like, what is the, like, if cannabis is the stigma, like then what do women use during their pregnancy that's like not in the stigma to help them with their pregnancy? Because like, why would a woman want to use cannabis during her pregnancy? I guess is the question.
Yes. So
and then what's the alternative to that?
Okay, so during pregnancy, women have a variety of symptoms from just general nausea to extreme nausea. There's a condition called hyperemesis where you're throwing up anywhere from 20, 30 times a day. You can't keep any food down, any liquid down. The hormones in your body basically are just creating a storm of chaos, right? And your body's just not functioning well. So you're not digesting nutrients. You're not hungry, which is a problem when you're trying to grow a baby. Other things that women experience are physical aches and pains. My hips grew 12 inches when I was pregnant with my first son. A whole foot I widened to be able to birth this child. So that causes physical aches and pains. Digestive issues, heartburn, headaches, mood issues, just being able to relax. You're stressed out. Having a baby is overwhelming. Just having something to, especially if you're a mom that struggled with mental health prior, you can utilize it to create a calming effect, just like an antidepressant, right? We know that it works similar within our brain, just like antidepressants do. So it's a tool. It's just a tool that we can turn to, and knowing how to use it in the safest way to reduce risk is beneficial. And so that's where we needed to have more education around it.
And so like, what are there like prescribed things that people can, like pregnant women can take, like from a pharmacy that is potentially harmful as well, but is normal just because it comes from a quote unquote doctor?
I think what do they normally give pregnant women for those symptoms?
So you can take Zofran is one of them, which one of the side effects of taking that is a child with low birth weight and delayed cognitive function. There's a few other ones. They all basically have the same general may cause low birth weight, may cause cognitive function. So when you're looking at that option, the risks are the same as with the cannabis option. The only difference is we don't have as much research that shows long-term effects. But to me, do we really have research that shows long-term effects of that? Like, how long have those drugs really been on the market? And how many times do drugs get recalled off of the market because we realize down the road, oh, you know what, this actually caused damaging effects? So I am someone that believes in the power of plant medicine on all levels. I turn to nature first. And for me, I did go the route of the doctors. I went and got the IVs. I got the, the vitamins put into my system, the hydration, and I still was struggling. I still wasn't gaining weight. I wouldn't have been able to have an appetite. Like, those things kept me from puking all day, but they didn't make me want to eat. Nothing gave me an appetite to want to eat other than cannabis. And that was important. I needed to eat. And
so, what is the correct way to consume cannabis when you're pregnant?
So that is depending on who you talk to, because there isn't, the research on this is minimal and it's insufficient data.
Yeah. What
the
do you
general
believe?
rules of thumb, let's just talk about body systems, right? Mm-hmm. And how we process stuff. So when you ingest something, like if I were to take an edible, that's going to go into my digestive system, which is going to go into my bloodstream and get into it. That'll pass through the placenta more, right? Because I'm ingesting it into my system, which goes through my gallbladder, my liver, all of that, which gets passed through the baby. Versus if I take a small hit off of a bubbler or, bong through the wall concentration, I can measure out my doses, take a small amount, take it in, get my relief, and then less is passing through the baby. Now, not every woman wants to smoke, right? Smoking when you're pregnant, like that's bad, right? We don't want to do that. But that, for me, that was the most effective way. And the risk of having some smoke versus not eating, I had to weigh that. I had to make that choice. So I consumed outdoors near windows, right? So I'm not getting that secondhand smoke. I would take 1-to-1 sometimes, but nothing gave me the munchies, really, because that's what I needed. I needed help getting the munchies, like just consuming pure flower. I'm not a big advocate for edibles and tinctures unless they're quality. There's so many edibles on the market that have so many sugars and fillers and garbage that you don't want to be consuming that either when you're using it for medicine, right? Like, I don't want to be taking in tons of sugar and syrups when I'm taking a gummy for pain. That's going to cause inflammation in my body. You're that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm a big fan of topical creams for pain. When women are using pain, using a topical CBD, with added stuff. I'm a big advocate for essential oils. I like to use them together to get a synergistic effect. You can go on the terpenes of, get terpenes from the cannabis and mix it with the terpenes of the oils, and you have this, dual product that is supportive of you. But it's up to each person. I don't fear the smoke where some people do. So luckily there's options. Women can use tinctures, but make sure that you're getting it from a reputable source, that you're doing your due diligence of knowing how they're growing and harvesting and what they're doing to process it and the testing that's done, because you are growing a baby and you want to be mindful of what you're putting in your body, just like you would be with the food you're eating and the products you're using in your home. And if you're not being mindful of those things, this is the greatest time in life to start.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
I think my mom smoked pot when
I'll say she probably smoked cigarettes too.
Yeah, I think.
I was gonna say, like my parents, both my parents probably smoked cigarettes with them in the womb, right? Like, so it's just like interesting that literally, like, maybe 50, 60 years ago, it was commonplace. You'd be light up a cigarette, you're pregnant, no big deal. Who gives a shit?
Right.
But now we know it's like, don't be smoking cigarettes while you're pregnant. That's weird.
Right. Don't do that.
Or weed, I guess. I don't know. Did you have?
Yeah, look, like, should you just be like getting high to get high, when you're pregnant?
Yeah,
no,
right.
It shouldn't just be like getting high to get high. We're talking about using it as a tool instead of something that has its own risks as well. So knowing that you have these options, just like, when we talk to veterans about PTSD and we say, hey, yeah, you can take this pharmaceutical, or have you ever tried cannabis, right? We have these choices that people have, and women should know that this is an option too, and we should have advocates for that.
100%. And we see more research, right? To just physically showcase that, I believe that plants are always going to be better than pills every day of the week. So we see more research to showcase that and show what's going on. I definitely wanted to talk about essential oils too. I didn't really ever know about essential oils, and so I started hanging out with JC Coates and realistically Joy. It was realistically Joy that kind of
good job, Joy.
Brought essential oils into my in front of me. So, do you want to talk about how you use essential oils?
I used it before I came here. I struggle with headaches, right? I think I have slight food allergies, and I have some issues with my eyes where I can't see very good. So there's probably a lot of tension there. So I use I think the peppermint oil. Put a little right here. And it works. And it's been great for me because the only thing that did work was Excedrin, right? Which is acetaminophen and caffeine, right? So, like you said,
you have crazy idea.
Right? You have the choice, right? And so, one is better than the other, right? There's some pros and cons there.
Yeah.
So. I don't take
for
the
sure.
Excedrin anymore. I use essential oils.
Yeah, fuck Excedrin. I want to talk with you about it, right? Because I feel like so many people are interested in it, especially someone like myself, who also gets migraines here and there. And I just feel like, there's so many people that use it as a tool. I don't think a lot of people don't know about it. So you want to kind of just like give like a brief overview on essential oils and how they're like effective?
For sure. Yeah. So essential oils are amazing. So they're, gifts of the earth, really. They are extracted or distilled from plants, herbs, roots, trees, flowers. Not every plant has an essential oil, but the ones that do, the essential oil basically works in the plant kind of like how our blood works in our body. It cleanses the plant, it purifies the plant, it creates pathogens to ward off against, dangers from illnesses and viruses that could attack the plant, fungus and so forth. So because they're organic and natural, we can utilize the power that they have in our own bodies, in our own chemistry. And just like cannabis, there are a wide variety of essential oils, and they are not all created equal. So I'm a big believer in doTERRA. I'm affiliate with them. They have been in powerful company in my life. When I talk about essential oils, I'm talking about doTERRA. And it has allowed me with cannabis to get off of years and years of pharmaceuticals for my mental and physical well-being. I used to be somebody that would just talk about food allergies. I used to just drink Pepto-Bismol, like the big bottle of Pepto-Bismol. I had like chronic IBS. So cannabis and oils have been a great tool for me to heal and repair my body. But you can use them in all sorts of ways, aromatically, internally, and topically. And they get into your bloodstream within 30 to 60 seconds and service of your cell in your body within 20 to 30 minutes. So when you're talking about needing something for, your physical wellness, they're incredibly effective and, should be used with mindfulness, just like anything when we're using it for our, on our bodies. But they're incredible tools, and a really, I think people that use cannabis for body and mind support would equally benefit from using essential oils because they really work synergistically together. Say I'm using, I'm getting cannabis for pain that has like high beta-caryophyllene in it. I can go and get an oil like black pepper, which also has high beta-caryophyllene in it, and I can utilize the two of them together to have this really inner outer body support and get a deeper healing happening, which who doesn't want that?
Yeah, 100%. So what would you recommend to a newbie like me who just wants to get kind of started with essential oils? Is it a kit that I should look for? I know that you said doTERRA. Does doTERRA make a starter kit?
Yeah, so we have starter kits for sure. They're kind of prepackaged kits that have the top oils that you would want to bring in to say replace your kind of modern cabinet in your home, right? To get rid of all the things that you would have to go to, say, CVS or Walmart for. It would basically cover 99% of your family's physical and mental wellness needs. But you don't have to go that route. You can get a more tailored package to what you need. It just depends on what your goal is. I like to sit down and talk to people about what their top 3 concerns are and really create a wellness plan, because I have found the kits are great, and I'm a big advocate of giving them, but not everybody needs the huge kit right off the bat. That may be too overwhelming for them, right? So I don't want people to get products that just sit in their home and they just are wasted. The point is to utilize them. So I like to really have a meeting with them and talk to them and see what their goals are, what their needs are, and then help them find the product that's going to work best for them, because there's so many choices out there and you can utilize them for so many different needs that, you can get a product like frankincense, which is $68 that helps your mood and mind, or like Copaiba, which is $35, but they have different things but similar. So, we can really tailor fit it to your individual budget and physical and mental need. for
I'll say
yourself.
that is good advice, because there is so many different oils out there. You can get lost really quick. So if you could just like tap in with somebody, it makes it super easy.
Lost in the sauce.
You know,
lost in the essential oil sauce.
And I will say one more thing, that like, you know, because I bought oil before with my headaches, and some, you know, sometimes the doTERRA can be expensive. And so we went and looked for some oil that was less expensive, right? And we just found some on Amazon, and we got it, and I used it. And let me tell you, this didn't work, right, as good as the doTERRA. And so I couldn't really find on the bottle where it said, like, you know, the serum was like a stronger concentration or something like that. But like, how would I know if I'm buying the, you know, the strongest type of oil?
By doTERRA.
Just buy doTERRA. That's it.
Look, the essential oil industry is not regulated by the FDA. There's a lot of labeling loopholes that can happen, and there's a lot of people that put fillers, and you know, you can have a bottle that says 100% pure lemon oil, but really there's only 10% of lemon oil in it, and the rest of it is, you know, alcohols and salines, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't have fungicides or pesticides. And the interesting thing is that you'll go and get a bottle of lemon oil from like Whole Foods, and you know, it says 100% pure, and you turn it around and it says not for internal or topical use, aromatic only, and you're like, well, wait a minute, this is like lemons, right? Like, why can't I take this internally? What did they do to this oil? And you know, anything you breathe goes into your body. So if I'm using something aromatically, like, I should be mindful of the fact that that's going into my body. And if I can't ingest it, then maybe I shouldn't be like breathing it in constantly as well. So there's a lot of labeling loopholes out there when it comes to purity and quality, which is why I just stick to the one that I know has done their due diligence. Every bottle that you get has a SKU code, and you can go to a website called sourcetoyou.com and look at the individual testing of that bottle and see all of it that's on there. And we're the only essential oil company in the industry that does that.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, transparency is important.
I have one more question. So, all right. So in terms of like, you know, smoking weed and parenting, I'm not sure how old your children are, but you know, in terms of like, you know, leaving the stash out, or like, you know, are you hiding your cannabis, or do you leave it out like you would a glass of wine?
That's a good question.
You know, what are the rules at your house?
Yeah, so my husband and I kind of have different views on this and how we manage it within the kids. But yeah, we keep it up. We have a cabinet in our room that all of our stuff is in and put away. But, you know, my husband will smoke a joint in front of them. If they walk in and he's consuming, he doesn't like freak out. I'm not as open about it with them. They know that I educate on it. They know that I use it. They've seen me consume it. It's not like I don't tell them. It's just not, I'm not just sitting there like getting high in front of them. You know, I kind of give myself timeouts. I wait till they're asleep. So it's not something that I just do in front of them, but they're definitely aware that, I don't know how aware my younger kids are. My kids are 11. One's about to be 8, 4, and 10 months. So my 11-year-old knows about cannabis. He looked me up online the other day and he was like, you have a lot of stuff about pot, Mom. I was like, yeah, for sure. So that's been an interesting conversation with him. But to him, he grew up with oils, right? He grew up with us drinking chamomile tea, and you know, to him it's no different. It's just a tool. He knows that, like, if I have a stomach ache and say my digestion isn't working as good, like, I'm going to go, you know, I'm going to give myself a timeout and go to my room and come back later. But I don't even like talk about it. It's not like Mom's going to go smoke some weed now. I'm just like, hey, I'll be right back. You know, like, it's not, we don't make a big deal about it. So
that's good.
I don't hide it, but I'm not like, yo, kid, you know, this is how you roll a joint. Like, my dad was like that with me. My dad taught me how to roll a joint when I was 11 years old. He sat down with me. He showed me how to do it. Like, so I think that's where my resistance is different than my husband's, because my husband's parents didn't smoke weed growing, you know, so we had different childhoods in regards to being witnesses of it at an early age. And so I kind of feel like I've pulled back a little bit because my dad was just so like, come here, girl, you know, and I had a long history of addiction, and I don't blame cannabis. I think alcohol for sure was my gateway drug, but it was just a normal thing in my house. And I want to make sure that I'm having the right conversations and showing him that it's a tool, not a crutch.
Nice.
I love that.
I love it too.
What about you? You got two kids?
Yeah, man. We got teenagers, and you know, I think it could be kind of an extreme example because I smoke weed and I run a cannabis company. So it's like, there's cannabis everywhere. There's cannabis packaging and not just consumables, but just everything that revolves around
cannabis.
A cannabis business, right? So my son's
JC's house is also our storage facility. So
basically, my son knows about it, and he knows that we work in it. And for me, I used to sneak cannabis when I was a kid, and I would get in trouble that way. I would sneak out and buy it from drug dealers or suspect people in dark corners. You know what I mean? But because it was all hidden. You know what I mean? So like we keep it out at our house. I mean, we keep it put away, but I smoke weed outside on the back porch. My son sees it.
Yeah.
We talk about it.
Same. My husband.
And he's educated on it. So I think it's that's just how we roll.
Yep. Same.
But yeah, well, thanks for coming on today. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was awesome
Thanks
getting you on
for having me.
We'll definitely want to get you back on. But before you go, why don't you plug yourself? Where can they find you? If they would love to get a doTERRA, it sounds like a call with you. How can they do that?
A wellness consult.
Yeah, let people know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Janelle Johngrass, if you didn't catch that. And my company's Know Mommy, and that's KNOW, like knowledge. You can find me pretty much on all the platforms under Know Mommy. I tend to be on Instagram the most, but I do have a Facebook page as well as my website, which is under construction right now, but will be revamped and live soon. You can message me on any of those platforms and get I offer free wellness consults and just see if my services align with what you're looking for and needing support in.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming
on.
on.
Thank you. Have a great day, you guys.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Very cool.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be talked about more.
Listen, I got so educated.
Yes, right.
Every time I listen to her, I just get so much more educated.
Yes. Yeah. Great guest.
Yeah, great guest.
How you doing today, man?
Dude, today's been a day, man. It's just been a long day. I had to go to the restaurant early this morning and go sit on the phone with Toast, which is our point of sale, and there was, end of shift issues, connectivity issues, and then it ended up to being like a $5 gift card that was out of whack. That ended up being the issue, and I've been having this problem for the past 2 weeks. And legit, I had to pull apart this whole system today, like screwdrivers and everything. And like, I'm not super handy, so it's like not the funnest, the most fun for me to like be IT Tony, handyman Tony. No, it's just been a long day, but I'm just happy to be here. It's and I've also like I've been a lot more conscious about my eating, and so today I ramped up like to be like more conscious about it. So I've had a lot more meals than I usually do, a lot smaller meals, and I don't know if I feel tired. My body wasn't ready for the calorie intake. I also worked out very hard this morning, so just pushing through, buddy. Yeah, some days you just gotta fucking show up and try your best.
Yeah, that's it.
You're never gonna, some days you're not gonna be able to give 150%, but as long as you're there and you give 90, next day make up for it.
Showing up, man. That's 90% of it. That's showing up. Being present.
Straight up. I was late today. Did not mean to be late. Just like car accident on the freeway, made the wrong turn. But we made it. Yeah. And we had a great podcast.
We did have a good podcast.
But let's talk about Oklahoma for a second, because that place was fucking lit. Like, honestly, before we left, wasn't the most hype. Not because I didn't want to go to Oklahoma, mainly because traveling's rough. Traveling can be rough on the body. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like from a battle standpoint, like what we're up against in Oklahoma is no small order. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely not a small feat.
We're against the culture of packaged flower. We don't live there, right? I think John Bond said it great on the podcast last week. You're only as great until it's time to scale, right?
Yeah.
And then the real cracks start to show. You know what I mean? So I think there was a little bit of fear about going out there. I think there's Chuck was pissed that he had to spend 30 days out there, so he still wasn't over that, right? So
I think he might have changed his mind though.
Yeah,
I think it changed my mind too, honestly.
Because we had a good trip. We went out there and we executed and we made a bunch of sales. We brought on a bunch of new retail partners who I can't wait to serve and make a bunch of dope content.
Shout out
for.
to all our new retail partners in Oklahoma.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. We're gonna get deep relationships with all you guys. Can't wait to do that. And listen, we're gonna tip it over down there. Culture and Cannabis is staking
coming, baby.
A flag in the ground. We have some big announcements about some major next steps that's gonna happen, but that'll come in due time. But before all that, I think we're gonna send an event out there. Did you see the last email, Tony?
I didn't see the last email. Wait, did the last email say that we're going to do an event in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Fuck. Well, listen, people, we're doing an event in Oklahoma. It's happening. I'm very excited about it, to be honest with you. It wasn't our first idea how we wanted to bring an event back, but it just makes the most sense due to regulations. Oklahoma's the most open right now, the most comfortable with doing events. So yeah, man, it's gonna be super dope. We have a couple spots lined up. It's looking like it's gonna be end of June and from the end of May till the end of June is what the time frame looks like. We're connecting with some major players out there to do some big things. Be working with some great brands, and we're gonna be bringing some great artists, and we're gonna be showcasing some awesome local talent.
Yeah, it's going to be dope. The Cannabis Community is going to come together in Oklahoma. It's going to be incredible.
I'm just excited because, I just can't wait to see JC Coates on the mic.
Oh, I will be getting on the mic.
JC Coates will be on the mic. I hope I can get. I'm just gonna slip in there here and there, but I'm really interested to see JC Coates, new and improved JC Coates on the mic, compared to drunk and a little messy JC Coates on the mic back in 2018, 2019.
Yeah, it'll be good, man.
It's so interesting, right? Because you're gonna be so jacked up there, literally. You shouldn't wear a shirt, honestly. You should just go shirtless.
I might take the shirt. I might just wear a really tight shirt.
Just one shirt, just one time over the head. Get the people fucking going. That's what they want to see.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
That's what the people want to see is JC shirtless. But yeah, Oklahoma was great. I'm really hyped. We're going to go back out there April 29th.
Yes.
So if we did not get to connect while we're out there, please hit us up. And listen, we just dropped a new Culture is Food, people.
Yes, we did.
At Stitch OKC. They're a amazing cafe in downtown Oklahoma City. They had some amazing coffees. They had some amazing treats. They had homemade Pop-Tarts, Jason. Remember that?
It was so good.
It was called the Campfire. It had a big marshmallow right in the middle. I mean, come on. What are you doing? They had an espresso bean glazed bacon burrito.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Did you guys just hear what I said? Espresso glazed
bacon
in a burrito.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Really good. Check out that episode. Just got dropped. I have something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, this is gonna trigger JC.
Oh,
let's talk about birthday parties for a second.
There we go.
So 4/16, your boy is going to be hosting a full-time Tony Bash. It's going to be a fantastic time. JC's super hyped. You might even see JC on the fucking ones and twos.
You could. I don't need this anymore. You could, man. I think me and Chuck might drop a little set for you.
Literally, the only thing I care about, we could even not throw the party. Can we just go to your house and just have you and Chuck on the one and two? That's enough for me. Because the last time you guys did at that one party,
at the artist,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Just so good. I was so hyped up. I got to be on stage with them, which is a dream of mine, just to be the hype guy. I was going to be the guy in the background just getting the crowd hyped up. I need to become mic guy. What I'm saying, 1, 2, 3, let's go. And then drop hits and it's everyone's going nuts.
Here we go.
So that's going to be cool. Stay tuned for that. If you're one of my homies, you'll get a DM about it. If you're not, shoot me a DM. We're going to be doing a pretty tight guest list. So it's just you can't just show up just due to COVID and stuff like that. And we want to make sure that we're being appropriate and safe. But we did get a pretty big house.
Very, very giant house.
Very giant house.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're gonna have some room to social distance, or not social distance, whatever you want to do. But yeah, other than that, I think we're rocking and rolling. I wanted to say one more thing. I keep on spacing what it was. I don't know. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
That's it, man.
That's it. That's Culture Cannabis Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next Thursday. I'm Full Time Tony. This is JC Coates. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.